All right. Hey, everybody. This is Damian Broussard here, the Kilted Cajun. Welcome to this video that we're recording for a very exciting thing that I did in the past couple of months. My family and I decided that we wanted to make our own custom tartan to make kilts out of and wraps and all different sort of things. And so we consulted with the Wales Tartan Center over in Wales in the UK, and Daniel Collins and the crew did an amazing job. So I actually have Daniel with me today, and we're going to kind of take everybody through the process of what we did and the decisions that went along with all that. But first off, Daniel, thanks for being with me today. I really appreciate it, and welcome.
Happy to be here. Happy to be a part of such a good show.
Yeah, welcome, and for all the way from Louisiana in the southern United States. I always like to say that the only thing below me is mosquitoes before you get to the Gulf. So one thing, Daniel, please tell me and everybody listening about Wales Tartan Center, kind of a little bit about the business and what y'all do.
Okay. So we're a little bit different to what everyone might be used to in terms of where they normally order their kilts and their tartan paraphernalia. So we do tartans for Welsh surnames like Jones, Davis, Williams, Evans. And basically we've taken what is essentially a Celtic tradition, and we've kind of made it our own thing. So we've adopted our own national outfit, which is patented, and it's basically just our own thing, effectively. The company has been going for over 20 years as we know it, as what it is today. We actually took the company over from somebody else who started the tartans and kind of brought them up to speed. And we've basically taken it over from there and promoted the tartans and taken it to America. So we have customers who purchase from us now, literally from all over the world. I'm getting orders literally as we speak. I've just had an email 2 minutes ago from someone who's ordered a Jones tie in Spain, and the next order will come from America. Yeah, that's kind of what we do. Obviously, we sell kilts. A lot of what we do is smaller gifts as well. So we do ties and scarves. We make things that a lot of other companies don't. Things like special wraps and scarves and tartans you can't normally get, and kind of just do something a little bit different,
Awesome. Well, I know I've purchased a couple of kilts from y'all, including the custom tartan that my family and I did, which we'll show everybody in a little bit. And I know everything I've purchased from y'all has been of the highest quality. I can tell that you really take pride in your craft, and definitely something you should be proud of.
That's good to hear. We aim to please. That is our motto.
So back in February, for everybody listening, back in February, we decided to make our own tartan. We, as in my family and I. One thing that everybody may or may not be aware of is that there are way more people outside of Scotland and Wales and Ireland. There's way more people outside of that region with heritage of that region that are actually living in that region. You can pretty much say that about Wales and Scotland and Ireland. So the what you were telling me about getting some orders from America doesn't surprise me at all, because there are a lot of us over here that either by choice or some of our ancestors not by choice ended up in America. So when we decided we wanted to do this, one of the reasons why is my family in particular has heritage from many of the Celtic nations, and it depends on who you talk to. 7 Celtic nations, 8, 12, it just depends on who you talk to. But we specifically have heritage from Wales, Ireland, Scotland, and Brittany, which is all members of the Celtic nations. So one thing about many of the Americans is that we not only have heritage from Scotland or Wales or Ireland, we'll have it from all over the place. And one thing we wanted to do with the tartan that we made was to honor the, to borrow a Louisiana term, to honor the gumbo that is my family, and so we chose colors that would represent each one of the nations that we originate from. So that's kind of why we decided we wanted to do one in the first place, because when you're looking for a kilt or a tartan for any reason at all, you go, okay, well, which one am I going to get? Am I going to have, am I going to honor the Stewarts or the Joneses or the Davies or anything like that? It's kind of hard to pick one when you have 8 in your family line. So for us, it was, well, let's do our own thing. Let's honor, everything. And like I like to tell people, it's 2021, not 1821. So you don't have to necessarily say, I'm House of Gordon and I'm only going to wear House of Gordon and this is all I'm going to wear, that sort of thing, because it's just not like that anymore. And many of us have a wide heritage. So that's when we decided to do it. And what I did was I went onto a website, just an independent third-party website, and I designed a basic design for the tartan. And then I contacted you and I said, help, because I don't know what to do now. And so kind of tell me, when I sent you the tartan design that I originally made, one of the things you told me was, okay, look, this is great, this is beautiful, but there's some issues with it that I think we need to tweak. Tell me about that.
Yeah, tartan designers are great because you can just play about with them and do your own thing. I mean, we don't have a tartan designer. You can just go on and do your own thing with ourselves, because it's a big project to set something like that up and to actually get it right. Maybe it's something we'll do in the future. But there are plenty of them out there and they're great fun to play with. But the only problem is, unless you really, it's hard to actually create a design from them unless you really put some time and effort into it. So most of the people who come to us and say, I've got a design already, it's kind of just like a couple of colors that you've added and you've kind of put a random thread count, which obviously makes a tartan both ways. And it creates an image on a screen. It's not yet a tartan, it's just an image. You don't really think about the set size, which obviously if you're making a kilt, is very important in terms of the pleats at the back. And it's important to make it look like a tartan as well. That is really important. So I mean, it's a great starting point, but I think you do need someone who's in the industry, who's got a little bit of experience, or just someone with an eye for this kind of stuff, to actually look at it and say, okay, well, as I did to you, that I love the colors, because that's the first thing I thought was, I've never seen a tartan with the colors of yours in it so far. And I thought this could really work if it's tweaked just a little bit. And of course, then the next stage took off and we sent it to our designers and they came back with what is now your tartan, which it was a great starting point. It saved us a lot of time in the beginning, having to go back and forth about colors, and you already knew what colors you wanted, which was a real helping hand,
Right. Now, one of the things you specifically educated me on that I did not know initially was, when the first design I sent you, it was just like colors everywhere. Every color that I ever thought I wanted to put in there was in there. I think
it started with like 12 colors and I was like, yeah, you might want to lose this one and this one. And yeah.
So I remember you telling me that a certain number of colors was a good thing to try to stick to there. And also the set size, there was a certain number of inches that the set size was good. What was that again?
Well, we normally aim for 6 inches for our tartans. That's what we've always worked to, but you can kind of go 6 to 8 inches roughly. Just in case anybody doesn't know, set size is basically the repeat of the pattern, just in case anybody doesn't know.
Now, after we got all that tweaked and after we did all that, you sent me a CAD design of the tartan. Tell me a little bit about that, because that was so, folks, this was amazing when I saw it, but then when I saw the finished product and compared it side by side with the CAD design, it really impressed me. So tell me a little bit about that, though.
Yeah, so I mean, CAD designs have come along massively in the last sort of 10, 15, maybe 20 years. Basically, CAD design, CAD stands for computer aided design. And basically, it just means that the designers can create something to scale and print it. So you've basically got a piece of tartan, a digital image, which is effectively a piece of tartan, which is to scale. So when you lay that against, if you did all your own tartan, if you lay that then against your tartan on and match the pattern up, it would be exactly to scale. It would just kind of blend in. This little piece of paper would blend in, and obviously the colors are all printed as close to the actual colors that would be in the tartan as possible. But of course, we also sent you some samples of the actual yarns as well next to it. So you've got a picture of your tartan, which is to scale. And you've also got a piece of paper then, which basically tells you, okay, so these are the colors, these are the actual pieces of yarn that will be put into your tartan. And you can actually see them, because sometimes there is a slight difference. Certain colors come out a little bit different. So like grays are sometimes a nightmare. Whenever we've done CAD designs for tartans with grays, you've really got to see an actual sample of those as opposed to looking at it on a piece of card effectively. But 99% of the time, those colors that you see on the printed image, I mean, looking at your tartan, for example, I'll put a photo in the edited version of this somewhere, but yours was pretty much bang on, wasn't it?
Right. It was spot on. And one thing that I really liked is when you sent me the CAD design and the yarn samples, you actually gave me a few different color choices of the blue, of the purple, of the red, and to where, you know, if it was a little bit different than what I envisioned on the screen, actually seeing an actual yarn sample, I may have changed my mind. In this situation, I actually didn't, but my cat says hello. But in this situation, I actually didn't change my mind, but it was really nice to see those yarn samples to be able to make an educated choice on what I actually wanted to go for, because once it's done, it's done. So I wanted to be sure to have that choice made. And one other thing that we did before we actually got into making it is you sent me the information on how to actually register this tartan, because once you do it, you can actually, and I did, you can get these registered with the Scottish Tartan Authority.
Yeah. So it's now the Scottish Register of Tartans, which is basically something that's taken over from the authority. But yeah, it's all the same thing basically. So you've got your own piece of family history now, which will be accessible to anybody. It'll be in the archives until someone comes along and says they don't want it anymore, or they don't want the Scottish Register of Tartans. And I can't see that happening, to be honest. So
exactly,
you've recorded your piece of history.
And it's amazing to have that and to be able to pull up on the internet and pull up the site and like, yeah, this is Damian Broussard's tartan. It's really neat.
It's also just to jump in a sec. It's also a very good way if someone else is a Broussard out there, or someone else is out there who's had a tartan. Someone's made a tartan for a name that doesn't have a tartan in stock in one of the normal mills. It's also a good way to find a design that's already out there. If you're like, oh, okay, well, someone else has already done this. They've taken the hard work out of it for me, but I just need to get in contact with them now and find out if they're okay for me to weave it myself. And then obviously that takes out 50% of the work as well. So that's a good way of doing it.
Right. Now, one thing that was impressive to me, even in the time of COVID that we're in right now, to me, the lead time on this, the time to completion was really not that bad. We began the process in February, and I had product in my hand by about 2 weeks ago, and we're now in August. So, I mean, to make something from scratch, and we're talking about on the making this tartan from scratch on the loom, which I don't know if you can post the video inserted in here in the editing process, but making that tartan on the loom was just an amazing process. We're talking about from start to finish, about a 6-month process. I really don't think that's bad at all.
Well, for something bespoke, yeah, it's great. I mean, we can't take all the credit because our mill is amazing. They really do. They're literally 24-hour. They're making so much cloth. They are 24 hours a day operation.
Awesome. Well, let's show everybody exactly what we made, and maybe you can, as I as I show each piece, maybe you can kind of just give a little spill on each one. How's that sound?
Yeah, no problem at all.
So I'm actually going to have to move my camera a little bit, but not much. All right. So we'll do that. And then, so the first thing obviously is what everybody wants to see, and that's the kilt. So I'm going to move my sporing out of the way here.
Just being a little bit biased for a second, I'm really glad that you chose the red as the predominant color for Wales.
Yes.
Can't argue with that.
So this is an 8-yard kilt. Now I noticed with your, well, just from your website, with your 8-yard kilts, you have 2 buckles.
Yeah.
And with your 5-yard kilts, you have just one. Is that kind of a Welsh thing, or is that just a maker thing? Different makers do it different ways.
No, it's, to be honest, most places where you buy a kilt, an 8-yard kilt will come with a hip strap, and a 5-yard casual kilt, or what we call a 5-yard casual kilt, will come with just 2-way straps. It's kind of just, the casual kilt was obviously designed to save money. It was designed to be made a lot quicker, so people could buy a kilt on a budget. So you had to cut corners with the casual kilt. So they just thought, well, okay, we don't need a hip strap, we don't need as many pleats. So they just kind of cut corners to be able to sell kilts a little bit cheaper, you know.
Gotcha. And then this 8-yard kilt, obviously, I'm going to stand on my toes here for a second, but the pleats on this thing are absolutely amazing. It's pleated to the set, which I know you can do it different ways, but this is my favorite way to do it because it just keeps that tartan, you know, going around the entire kilt. So I really
pleating to the set is always safe. I mean, pleating to the set works with every tartan. That you can't go wrong with that. It's the safety option.
Right.
Pleating to the stripe only works with certain designs where there's a predominant line, and it would actually work for yours. You know, not that I'm trying to convince you to buy another kilt in the future, but if ever you did, then that would be the tartan to do it, because you've got that predominant yellow line in it, which would work. When you've got a lot of lines next to each other, then it doesn't really work so well, because the back doesn't look right.
Right. And here's the flashes. And before I show everybody these flashes, it's been no secret ever that my favorite flashes in the world come from Wales Tartan Center, because they're different. And I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I plan to go through all of my kilts, of which I own 12 now because it's an addiction. I'm planning on getting them to make flashes for me in each of my kilts in this way, because these are just so cool. You know, it's a square version of the flash with the fringes at the bottom. And here's a good look at the tartan. You know, we did red for Wales. We did yellow and blue for French royalty, which is in my lineage. We did the purple for Scotland, naturally, and the black is for music, because music is a big part of my family, and also for our Norse heritage, which is a big part of my wife's side of the family. So we kind of picked a little bit of everything there, but this is a good look at the tartan and the flashes. It's been no secret. My favorite flashes come from y'all, hands down.
Again, we aim to please.
What's that?
I said, again, we aim to please.
That's right.
But
okay, so this is
kind of just part of doing the outfit a little bit differently as well, making the Welsh outfit look a bit different, you know?
Exactly. So, okay, so this is, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, this next item is something that y'all don't typically do. Y'all never made this before, but all I had to do was send you a picture, and I gave you a few little rudimentary measurements here, and y'all just took it and ran with it. And let me tell you, it's perfect. My wife and daughter absolutely love it. We're going to take some family pictures this weekend, and I'll send them over to you with them wearing their stuff. But this is a wrap that y'all made, and we basically just took some pictures and measurements and sent it to you. Now you're going to have to kind of get it all in the camera here, but here's the top with the fringes. All right, square piece of cloth here. And then as you go up, you know, it has a split in it here that they wrap around. The large part of the cloth goes into the back. This goes on either side of the neck and falls down in the front. And the cool thing about this is that they can wear it to the front as normal, or one side of it can be flipped up, and then you can use a brooch on one side. There's many, many, many different ways to wear this, but everywhere that Amy and Jenna go, that they have these on, the first question out of somebody's mouth is, "Oh my God, where did you get that? That is amazing." So thank you so much for doing this for them, because it's sometimes it's hard with the ladies, because they're like, "I don't wear kilts, but I want to wear the tartan. What can I do?" So this was really cool. So tell me, did you people that you have making them over there, did they kind of raise their eyebrows at you a little bit and go, "You want us to do what?"
No, not at all. Because wraps are one of those things. They can be made like 100 different ways. So we have made wraps for customers I mean, we sell shawls. So what we class as a shawl is just a 1.5 meter square or 60-inch square piece of cloth. And we sell those from stock because we know they're very versatile. So you can wear those in a couple of different ways, whereas something like that, you could wear maybe one or two ways. But we just stick to shawls because it's a little bit easier. But we have got obviously girls who can make things, who've made things in the past for us, where it's kind of your own spec and your own sizes, which is exactly what you asked for. It's a lot easier than you think. These girls are very skilled. So obviously that part of it, I would never touch a sewing machine. So no discredit to them, because they are amazing at what they do. I call them magicians, because they really are. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's wrap. What is a wrap? I mean, it can be made 100 different ways. So yours was one of 100 that we've been asked for in the past. It's never too difficult, as long as we know. If someone sends us a photo like you did, and we're like, yeah, okay, no problem. Now we know what we're working to. We can kind of figure out the mechanics of it and go from there. So
right. And then the other thing we ordered was just some basic scarves. With the fringes in the end. Y'all did an excellent job with this.
I'm really disappointed though, because you told me to make a scarf for myself, and because we were so busy, I totally forgot, and you've got all the cloth now.
Hey, but it's a good thing, because I have your address. I'll just send some back to you.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking you'd have an excuse to come and see us, but yeah, we can go that way as well.
Well, I would absolutely love to come see you if this pandemic would ever chill out.
Yeah.
If the pandemic chills out and the travel restrictions chill out, I'm on the next plane.
Good stuff.
But so we ordered some scarves, we ordered some wraps, we ordered a kilt for myself and also a kilt for Leighton. So that goes to show that y'all can make kilts for kids as well, because Leighton's a little bitty thing. Mm-hmm. And the flashes for each kilt and everything. And then y'all sent me all the cloth. Now, I ended up ordering like 20 meters of cloth. And I think with everything that I made, it goes quicker than you think. With everything I made, I only have about 5 meters left over of cloth. So, I mean, we burned through some cloth making the things that we made. So one advice I would give to everyone is whatever you think you're going to need, order a little more, because you're going to burn through that cloth a lot faster than you think. But what I will say is, as we wrap this up, is that this was a really pleasant process to go through. Welsh Tartan Center made it easy on me. They educated me where I needed to be educated in a positive way, and really helped the process move along so smoothly. And my family and I really, really appreciate it. Daniel and I have become good friends throughout this process, and I'm serious. As soon as I can get over to Wales, I'm really that's going to be one of our next vacation spots. It was really, really a cool process to go through. I think if it's something you're thinking about doing, these are the guys to help you do it, because they really make the process great. Daniel, tell everybody where they can find y'all.
So most people find us online, just our website, which is welsh-tartan.com, or just Google and search for Wales Tartan Centres, Welsh Tartan Centre, and you'll find us. Or if you've got a Welsh name, just type in Davis Tartan, Jones Tartan, and we normally come up first, usually. But there are a lot of great companies out there as well who provide our stuff, which comes from us. So, not to be too salesy about the whole thing, if you buy something in our tartans from somebody else, it all comes from us. The cloth comes from us one way or another. We literally sell our cloth to companies all over the world, so we're used to that. But yeah, just look us up online.
Excellent. Daniel, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and telling everybody about this. If you have any questions, guys, contact Daniel over at Welsh Tartan Center, and they will definitely help you out. So until next time, this is the Kilted Cajun, Damian Broussard, saying thank you so much for watching, and kilt on, everybody. And remember, be kind to one another. Doesn't cost a dime. Bye-bye. Daniel, thanks, man.
No props.